Wake the fuck up. It's time to talk business. Jared Taylor, Matt Best, and Evan Hafer proudly present Blackhearted. Sponsored by BlackRifle Coffee Company and Arson Wave.
Holy shit. We have a really cool fucking show today, that's for sure. Oh, and we have so many angles to cover too. There's a lot of different things that we can talk with you about. That's cool.
Welcome to the studio, Mr. Donny O'Malley.
Mr. Donny O'Malley.
Vet TV himself. Can I just call you that, Mr. Vet TV?
Mr. Vet TV?
No, because I'd rather share it with everyone else.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah,
wanna,
you
I don't
can
wanna...
just pull that close to you. Just right there. There you go. Just pull that in. You know, you can pull
Get
that
nice
closer to you.
Close to the
You just-
mouth.
Is that better?
You got some slack. I think you can come more too, so you can relax in your chair.
No, I don't want to yank this cable.
No, that's fine. You've got space. Trust me. Just pull it.
I like the live tech thing going on right now.
Listen. What you're listening to is customer service on the podcast set right now with Donny.
It's okay. You're a Marine, correct?
I still am.
You still are. You're reserves.
No, because once a Marine, always a Marine.
Oh, God.
there
You
it
fucking
is.
got me.
He got us.
You dirty dog.
got
You
us.
walked me into that one.
Yeah.
What do you got over there in that? Is that like pre-workout?
No, I do a little snippet of caffeine and amino acids. It's a little mixture.
Looks delicious.
It's refreshing. Donnie's got some coffee. I made you a special cup.
I am the only dumb one that didn't get anything.
I just had a very, very special moment in my life when Matt Best made me a cup of BlackRifle coffee.
It's because I care.
I felt like I should have recorded it.
So shit, man, you got so much stuff going on. I guess first things I would say would Vet TV. You've been kicking that off, right?
I think we end with that. I think we need to start. We need to start with, you got out of the military and you made money off your personality. You wrote a book.
Mm-hmm.
You did stand up. So let's talk about that. Talk about the business aspects of your decision to write that book, where'd it come from, and then how that transitioned into your live stuff. And then we'll move into what you're doing currently now.
So my long-term goal, I figured it wouldn't happen until I was over 40, was to own a large production company. And I've modeled it after Happy Madison Productions, Adam Sandler's company.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make films. So that's been the long-term goal since I was 19 or 20 years old. And I figured the best way to begin moving towards that goal was to take what I already knew were entertaining stories, publish them, build a following, save up money, and then use the money that I made from books to then start making films and start small and grow bigger. That was the long-term plan. So the book was the first step in that plan. And
did you have all that foresight at that point when you were launching the book? Did you look at that as almost a stepping stone to like future endeavors, or were you just kind of shooting from the hip and then that's what it transpired into?
No, that was the goal.
Oh, that's awesome to have that.
Yeah, and I my goal was to write many books. I wanted to write like 12, and I figured they would be really small and short, under 100 pages, like 99 cents, and they would be about snippets of my life. And everything that I do in comedy is really just looking back at myself and self-deprecating.
I personally read your book.
Yes, you did.
I gratefully enjoyed it. It was super funny because the tone that you took with it was almost like I hear you telling me the story as I read it. So it was really funny. I enjoyed it. And it is. It's not super long, so it's not intimidating. Anything over 30 pages for me is a little intimidating.
My target audience.
So one chapter.
Yeah.
Matt, I'll read your book.
You read my book?
I'll read your book. I read most of his.
Okay. I need you to read all my books so you can see it, okay?
But yeah, so how did that initial book comes out? What was the response? Was it what you expected? Was it?
Yes.
And what's the name of the book, if you don't mind, for everybody?
Embarrassing Confessions of a Marine Lieutenant.
Very, very good title for that.
Yes.
And the cover's outstanding too.
Thank you. That cover, I think, it might be my favorite part of the book.
It is a good
Yeah,
cover.
if you don't have that book, you might as well get it because it's super funny. It's 130 pages ish.
208.
What, really? Oh, I thought it was shorter than that. Well, still.
You read 130.
Yeah, I got the 130.
Yeah.
I mean, I really enjoyed the stories though. So like, yes, if you don't have that, pick it up because it's just super funny. Like it's super raw. I'm sure every Marine officer cringes at it. But they're lying to themselves because they refuse to tell the truth about themselves.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's actually one of my favorite forms of comedy is like the I won't say defecating, but deprecating comedy. That's actually how I started early on, was just making fun of myself as much as possible. And then, my comedic outlook kind of changed a little more, but I still enjoy putting that in. Like that's what I'll be doing with my book. And that's pretty awesome. Is that what you try to do today, you think, still in comedy after like your stand-up routine and all that?
Yeah. The whole, everything is based around self-deprecation.
I do want to develop
Everything.
a good stand-up show, and I'm coming to you for that. Like, yeah, because I don't know how to do it. I don't know what to do.
Would you say writing the book was harder or preparing a stand-up show is harder?
Writing the book took much longer, but the stand-up was much harder to nail that down.
That's just a hard form. It is
It is.
super hard. We can get on here and do the show and make people laugh on Drinking Bros and stuff, like, and that comes fairly easy. But you tell me to go do a stand-up routine, I don't know what the fuck to do.
Well, I think it's immediate response too, because certain episodes, like if it's not to their taste, they have the ability to turn it off and be like, I'll check the next one. Whereas like a live show, you got to keep them engaged, and the more engagement, the better the show, because obviously the crowd adds to the responses, which adds to the joke's performance. But I don't think I'd ever, I don't want to do live comedy ever. It's very challenging.
Only if we're as a pair. Only if we're as a pair.
We've done
Then
it as a pair.
It works.
Yeah.
I didn't think I would either. I figured it was because I've always been the guy in my group of friends at a party, or my favorite time of life is really the morning after a party when everyone's sleeping in the same house and everyone comes together to the living room and all the guys are telling stories about who fucked who the night before. And that's, every morning when that happens, I'm at the front of that room telling stories about the stupid ass shit that I did the night before. And that was, as far as I thought I would ever go. I just, after watching stand-ups, I'm like, yeah, I could never do that. But I got kind of pushed up onto the stage, and the same person that was in front of those guys, my buddies in the room, comes out on the stage, and that's why I've been able to keep doing it and be successful.
That's awesome.
So book comes out. What's the response? What's some of the favorite responses you got from Marines or from other Marines or from officers? Is both good and bad. I want to hear some of the, because I know you caught some shit from some people just not wanting to admit what real military men are like.
Yes. All of my friends who I served with loved it. My Marines loved it as far as they communicated to me. A couple Marine officers, old guys, commented on my Amazon reviews and like said I'm what do you say? I'm a sociopath. I'm an embarrassment to the Marine Corps and to officers and all these things that I just thought were awesome.
Yeah.
So I took a snapshot of their reviews and posted them, and at the end of each of those when I posted it, I said, I bet this gets me a whole lot more books sold. And each time it was like 200 books sold within hours of me posting those things about my book.
That's awesome. I think people get so detached from that, they maybe forget the older they get what they acted like when they were a Joe, because I've got the same response here and there in comedy stuff where it's like, or skits, they're like, man, I can't believe this is the way this fucking guy would act. You're like, man, that's a side to all of us. It's the only way that you stayed sane in deployments and the long garrison shit was you made some dick jokes and you talked about fucking a girl you shouldn't have without a condom on. And we've all learned from those mistakes.
And it's like
why make it so...
Who are we kidding?
Yeah,
Like,
why
guess
demonize
what?
it? Like, accept it and embrace it, and that actually gives you the chance to make better decisions as you grow older,
Mm-hmm.
Yes. 20 years ago, there was that girl that got ran through the barracks. And today, there still is that girl that's
Yes.
getting ran through in the barracks right now. It hasn't changed.
It doesn't change.
Nothing has changed. Like, so sit
other
there
than
and go,
there's like social media, so it's a little more out there.
Yeah,
but-
Now that video is getting posted on Twitter and everybody's getting NJP'd.
Yeah.
What was the joke we always said? If you're going to do it, film it, because there was some Ranger guys that got framed with a rape on a girl because she got a train ran on her. And so they all went to court. These guys were on their last stick, but then guy goes, hey, I have footage. And she's like, more, I want it all. Like super whore status. And they all got acquitted. And then she got charged. And it was like, Rangers, good job, bro. Because if you're going to do it, record it, because that's saving your butt.
Actually that's sound advice now.
Yeah, it's nothing about it. It's illegal if the girl's consenting.
I've got a fairly popular friend that makes them take a video before every time. As state your name
And consent?
Yes.
No way.
Yes, he does.
I'm not gonna lie, I implemented that a few times in my life back when I was single.
I thought it was super funny, like that he did that, and I was like, oh man, I want to watch these. Then after the 60th one, I was bored.
Wow, not me. That's someone else.
No, not him.
I didn't.
I'm
do
talking
six.
about another buddy.
It's
That's
fucked up because if you
nuts.
text it to your buddy, it's a little selfie thing, and it's like, I fucking Kelly so and so consent to have adult relationships on this date. Text that to your boy. It lives forever, just in case.
Just in case.
Which
He's
is
our favorite guy.
just in case.
Just in case.
I tell you, just in case is my favorite guy. Because the more and more, I'm sure, have you dealt with this at all? The more and more you tend to get popularity and notoriety, people attack you just based on the premise of your success. So
Yes,
they'll
I'm
find
sure
anything and everything to
when people saw
shake a
that
dollar out of
dollar
you.
figure that you raised, I'm sure you got something, right? Somebody came
A little.
knocking.
A little. It wasn't. I actually thought that I would get more.
Yeah.
Based on conversations with you, actually,
Yeah.
that we had prior, and it wasn't as bad as I thought.
Yeah.
Range 15, IndieGoGo was that way. We had a lot of people come out because they saw the dollar amount because it was public.
Yep.
Like, you fucking extorting motherfuckers.
Well,
We're like, this is
the
going to a
biggest-
budget. Are
yeah.
not taking any of that money.
The biggest problem is the people in our industry, in the film industry, they have a sense of entitlement that if they moved out to LA and they've been waiting tables and doing shit jobs trying to make it, that we don't have the right. And they feel like that should be theirs. And we experienced a lot of that.
Have you dealt with any of that as far as vet TV and getting your own thing going? Have you seen any people that have almost attacked you because of the successes that you're starting to pick up momentum with?
No, we haven't had anyone from the entertainment industry or anyone really blatantly want to attack us. So no, I guess
That's
we're very
good. Well,
fortunate.
also too, you're a fairly neutral guy. You've done your own thing for a while. You didn't have a lot of enemies. Your personality was your brand, whereas we grew up having brands that had competing brands and other people that were jealous or angry that we were able to do what we did.
Sure.
But I will say, seeing your content online has been super refreshing because I feel like when we started doing our skit comedy and stuff like that, a lot of people followed suit and that's awesome. But yours was just so different. It's more long form. It's really, from what I've seen, at least the teasers and stuff, it's been really cool to watch because it's something that really I haven't seen anybody else do. And it's like, wow, man, you're creating your own space in this little demo that we have. And it's exciting. And I'm really amped to see where you guys go with it in the future.
So
That warms my heart.
Yeah, let's
Thank you.
get back. Let's get back on our timeline. Book comes out. When was it that you just said, okay, I'm going to try stand up?
It was not for a year.
Okay.
Actually, just under a year. So when the book came out, it did as well as I'd hoped. I was telling you last night, I got up to 4 in all of comedy on Amazon. My competition was all the Saturday Night Live books, big publishers.
Oh, that's awesome.
And of course, that only lasted a couple of days, but it felt great. It took a snapshot.
Yes.
We do the same with
we
our music.
celebrate. We
We
celebrate.
celebrate.
Yeah.
For the one day it's on
For
there.
the one day that we're there, that's our
Yes.
day.
So it did well for, maybe 2 months. But not long after that, I did this event called the Silkies Hike. The Silkies Hike, then it was 22 kilograms on your back, hiking 22 kilometers, and it started out in honor of the 22 veterans who kill themselves every day. And I did that just because I wanted to get a bunch of guys together. Because one of my buddies had smoked himself. He was my biggest fan, publishing the book. And I actually ended up, using my comedy to bring awareness to suicide. And then I also had an actionable plan to prevent suicides, because I never am that impressed with awareness. I like plans for action, and so I included
saying
that
all
in
the
the
right
book.
things today.
Yeah. Awareness is cool if it leads to money that's going to research, and then so be it. Let the researchers take the action. But I think when it comes to something like suicide, it's up to us to take the action. And so that's what I did. Had an actionable plan. My first big action was to bring veterans together, because pulling guys out of social isolation, bringing them together, camaraderie, feel good, a little bit less likely to kill yourself. So that event blew up all over the country. I turned it into a nonprofit. I completely forgot about the book 2 months after publishing.
Oh, damn.
Didn't even tell anyone I published a book, because I was so focused on the nonprofit, and I didn't want people to think that I had started a nonprofit to market my book. So I completely shut it down. And then it wasn't until 8-9 months of running a nonprofit, when I was fucking burnt out. Dealing with volunteers is
Challenging as
miserable.
fuck, yeah.
And it was all good people trying to help, but I was managing personalities from all over the country, and it's just a very stressful thing. But we did a lot of good, and come January of the next year, 2016, I was like, okay, I fucking just blew all my money on the nonprofit. Now it's time to market my book. So I made my first video, which was based on a tryout that I did for Duffel Blog that they never responded to. And the title was "First Female to Graduate IOC Discovered to Have Penis."
I loved that.
So I turned that into a video, and I realized that my ability as a filmmaker was better than I thought it would be for my first video. So then I started making more, and my goal was always long form film. So my stuff was longer than what you would traditionally see, and I wanted a little bit of a story and a little bit of character development in there. And so it was from there that I started doing stand-up, because people who enjoyed my videos and enjoyed my book were like, "You got to come out here and do this. Like, just come fucking talk to us. Come do this on stage." And I did it. And then after I got my first good response in Texas, I was like, I can do this again, but I can do it better. So then I started studying all the best stand-up comedians, and I wrote a script for the whole stand-up, and then sent it to a couple of my friends who are funnier than me, but just don't have, just haven't mustered up the courage to get up there and do it yet, but I know they're more talented than me. So I sent it to them, and I just kept modifying it until I had a good act. First time I delivered it was in Austin, and it was a huge success. So I took that all over the country. And that's how I started stand-up.
That's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think that, like, how the writing, if you have a certain ability to write, I think that translates a lot to, it's an act, whether it's stand-up, whether it's film or anything like that. I think the structure of any of that is in good writing, because if you care about the writing, then you have the ability to translate it better to on screen or in a performance. And I've seen that a lot with a lot of guys coming up. They don't really care about the writing as much. They care about being on the camera, because there's an affirmation based off of, like, wow, I'm a personality because there's a camera on me, rather than focusing on what they're actually saying and, like, the substance to the content. And there's a drastic difference between a lot of people in that. And I think you see that in your own work, because you care about the product. You take the time and due diligence to sit back, have people critique your writing, and I'm sure you're not afraid for someone to be like, "This isn't funny at all, motherfucker." And you're like, "No. Shit."
Well,
it isn't
also
funny.
too, man, it's like once you push that script and you get it back, and then you practice it a few times, and then you go on the road. That last show, I bet was the best show, because at that time you've read all these audiences, you know what's hitting, you know where the fuel is, and your performance is modified every time, and you're getting more comfortable with your own script. Like, that's what I think is really intriguing about stand-up to me is just that
You know what?
process
I
of
didn't even think
tuning
about-
the show.
Not to talk about us for a second, but like when we did the Range 15 AFE thing, we actually started isolating jokes that were working randomly that we had said and using them more frequently in the
Yeah.
crowds to make people
Because
riled up.
we knew it.
We knew like what the responses were going to be. So,
Yeah.
the play of characters on stage, and they thought it was natural. And for the most part it is, but there's a substance of writing to it,
Yeah, you're modifying your performance, and I'm sure I'd be willing to bet that when you first got up there, you probably didn't think you were performing. You were probably just going up there and being you guys. But then as you continually get up onto that stage, it's my belief that it has to turn into a performance.
Right.
And you treat it like a profession, like being a performer is part of your profession.
It's interesting you say that, because for a long time I was like, I just want to be completely normal, Matt. But then I forget who it was. It was somebody came up to me and were like, you have to realize people want a performance. They have a certain expectation of you. And not that you'd ever change your personality, but like going in front of a crowd, they don't want you to be like how I normally be like, I'm good. All right, later guys. Because I just don't like that. I feel it's self-indulging, but they want the performance. So you actually have to learn that about yourself. And it took me years and years to figure out, fuck, if people want me to talk somewhere, maybe I should just spout my fucking dick hole a little bit, because that's what they want to hear.
Sure.
But
All right, so now out of stand-up, you have the concept of Vet TV, which I remember you were in the framework of it when we all met up in LA at that Airbnb and had a good time, and you were telling me all about it, and now it's a reality.
Yeah.
So talk us through that whole process.
The whole notion of a network came about because, as Matt said before, no one else had been making the kind of videos that I was making. And whenever I create something, I have a very specific target audience in mind. And that is usually a 30-year-old enlisted Marine infantryman who's been out of the Marine Corps for 5 years and has done at least one deployment to Iraq or Afghanistan. So that's who I'm speaking to. And when I know who I'm speaking to, my voice is more clear and everything comes across as more genuine. And as a result, those who are my target, which turns out are all infantrymen, were incredibly grateful that I was making something that was specifically for them. And that gratitude was expressed to me by both Army and Marines from all over the country, and they said, we would pay for your videos. And I immediately thought, okay, how do I monetize this? And I, through some research, realized that the best way to do it was to have a subscription-based network.
yeah.
And I found a network called Black and Sexy TV that was that is doing exactly what we are doing now. But they started out with a YouTube channel. They had a great story. YouTube channel, using ad dollars and their personal money to create these shows. And this is scripted television that they had, like web series. And they had a very small but loyal fan base. They ran out of money. They're about to be evicted. So they said, let's sell our season finale. They sold it with good success. They sold it using VHX, which is the platform that we are using. VHX is owned by Vimeo. And they were recommended to start a subscription-based network. They did. I came across it, and I was like, if they can do it, I can do it. Because the veteran community can get around this more so than their community. They were targeting 20 to 35 young and progressive black people. That was their target market. They were trying to be the answer to BET, which they thought was watered down. And as a lot of my verbiage has been very similar to your guys, and looking at the Range 15 IndieGoGo campaign, that was a huge part of my inspiration because I saw what the community would rally around if they respected the person doing it and trusted them, and if the product was something that the audience wanted. And I think I told Jared a while ago that had you guys not done that, I don't know that I would have thought I could do that.
Because you guys
awesome,
raised a substantial amount of money, over $300,000. Like,
Just under 297.
okay, wow. I mean, and what was your goal?
250.
See, that's just
awesome.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Very few people that do crowdfunding.
I truly believe that. I think when the community rallies around these certain projects, I think at the core level, it's authenticity that people want. Because if you look at what like the structure of content and entertainment based around the veteran community for the last decade plus, fuck man, the people that have been writing these stories and content are people not in the community. I mean, how that's when I started YouTube, because I was like watching these people's depict veterans, and they're not even fucking veterans, or not even have family members serve. They read a book and then they decided to make something because there was a lack of content in that space. So it's nice to see influencers and people building brands inside the community that are from the community, because there's that sense of authenticity where it's like when you watch one of your skits, you're like, man, I fucking know that guy, and that's what really resonates.
Oh, your
with the
guys'
community.
campaign video was stunning.
The commercial or
Yes.
the one that had Drew Hernandez, Rudy Reyes, Terminal Boots, Daniel Maloney?
The walkthrough that starts in the church.
Okay, got it.
Can I be in a skit one time with you guys?
Can we be?
Are you kidding
Can we
me?
be on that TV?
Do you know how
Wanna be on
many of our?
TV?
Do you know how many of our fans have been like, "Yo, one of the Article 15 guys is gonna be in one of your videos."
We'd love
I'm like, they're really busy. I don't know. Like,
Well, I would
maybe
love to. I
someday.
would love to be on that TV. I'd be honored.
You now have had a couple days peered into our lives.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I just got so excited. I got goosebumps and my dick got hard.
Yes. Well, we'll find someone to suck it, not me. Okay.
We'll find somebody. Hey, somebody, can we get a sucker in here?
Kelly. No.
Did you know Kelly? We don't have anybody that works here.
Well,
named
I didn't
Kelly.
want to say an actual
yeah,
employee
it would
name.
be great.
No,
it'd be horrible to say.
I'm not
an
going to say
employee
a woman's
name.
name.
Yeah.
That could be sexual harassment, but we can say a man's
Kelly
name all day.
or Justin. Kelly or Justin.
Now it's cool, and I think BlackRifle as a whole, and like what we're building here, we value and welcome guys like you, because you're individually motivated, and then you're individually motivated to create a support system and network of other veterans that create just a positive light in our community, and it's super refreshing to finally sit down and talk to you and meet with you, brother. So
Thank you.
thanks for
Appreciate
coming
that.
out, man. Not
And
that-
you know, I might have a show for you too.
Dude,
This little thing that I'm developing.
I know. Did you see my face when you were telling me the concept of that? I was like, we can do something. Like this.
Yes, we can.
The options are endless, and just to make sure that I communicate our intent properly, our long-term vision is to have one show that is therapeutic to every MOS and every job in the military. And we're a long ways from that, but ideally, I would like for someone who served in
Mortuary affairs.
Sure.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
that would be the darkest fucking comedy ever.
God. I just got
Mortuary
excited.
affairs.
I can't believe you went there. That's
Yeah.
fucking
Well, I
awesome.
mean, I've met a few of those guys, and it's like, dude, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
they'd
I
be
can't.
dying to see that content. See that-
Oh jeez. Oh jeez.
I was going in the direction of someone who served in the Army motor pool,
Right.
who that was their only experience in the military was in the Army motor pool. And there's all kinds of things that goes on within that culture that no one else would get. And I want to make a show specifically for everyone who has done that job. And I say therapeutic because when they watch it, I want them to feel good. I want them to laugh, and I want them to feel nostalgic, and I want them to feel like their service is appreciated.
Yeah.
Because all we ever see in the movies is special operators and infantry.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
EOD got one, but
Yeah,
everyone
you
else
know-
doesn't get shit.
You know what movie I
Right.
have to use for me to explain what my job in the military was? In the Army Now. You know, have you ever seen that Pauly Shore movie? In
Yeah,
the
oh,
Army
yeah.
Now at the end where they've got the glid and they're the mule. I forget what they had in there, and they're lasing targets. Yeah, that's what I do.
I mean, that's a perfect testament to what we were talking about earlier. Is like the military on a general cultural level isn't represented well, and even on a subculture of like the motor T guy or whatever, the cook,
Air
and
wing.
none of those, because Hollywood doesn't give a fuck. They care about
Nobody cares.
You're not cool unless you had a beard. Well, guess
about
what?
the
I
ID
never had a
checkers.
fucking beard when I was in active duty. You know, so
What about the guys that are guarding streets that are closed during PT?
yeah, that guy.
Fuck it.
Listen,
Road
I
guards.
pulled road guard many times for airborne operations, sitting there with my fucking little candlestick and my vest on,
You
like
know,
2 a.m.
That's
fuck
one
this.
thing I do want to see. I want to see a Black Hat TV show like about airborne instructors. That's funny.
Yeah.
Here's the beauty is that the reason Hollywood doesn't give a fuck about the Navy Air Wing. Actually, no, that's a poor example. We'll go back to Army Motor Pool. The reason they don't care is because there's no money in that.
Right.
That audience is so small, and I still haven't been able to define the size of all of these little subcultures, but that's something that I'm working towards. But if we can produce a show for $10,000 an episode, or even 20, and we have 8 episodes, and we have one season of one show that makes, let's just say, 200,000 people incredibly happy, then we have a great success. As long as we have the money to continue creating things that are economical but still therapeutic to the target, then we're succeeding as a business.
Hear that, ladies and gentlemen? Support Vet TV.
Booyah.
So what's in the works? What's the first show that we get?
The first show is called Kill Die Laugh, and that is, as we are dubbing, the Chappelle Show of the military. So every episode deals with a serious issue, and we make a complete fucking mockery of it. But at the end of this sketch comedy, so the host comes out.
Are you the host?
I am.
Oh, yeah.
Not because I'm the most talented host, but because I'm the cheapest. I
Yeah.
work for free.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So she saved a lot of money on a host.
Yeah. Whenever we're like strapped for when casting, like can't cast someone, or all the submissions that we've had aren't good or something, it's just like, will you do it? And I'm like,
You know who I need to introduce you to?
I'll work for free for Vet TV. You know
we
that,
need
right?
to hook him up.
I don't charge.
do you know how many people just got fucking wet pussies and hard dicks by hearing you say that?
Why the fuck
Yeah,
would
we're
I charge
free.
you guys?
We're
No,
free.
I'll fly out for the weekend. We'll film as much as we want. I don't
You know
charge.
who else we need to link him up with is Jamie Kaler.
Yeah,
He would be perfect, and he lives out there where you guys are at. And he's a Navy vet. He was an officer. He's a stand-up comedian. You would love this guy. He
yes.
does Dads in Parks. He's the guy that did Dads in Parks with me and Rocco.
I would love to meet him.
Yeah, he
Would love
hosted
to.
the GI Film
The
Festival.
GI Film Festival. He's the host.
Really?
last
Yes.
year. Yeah. We'll screw him. He's
you
a
and
good
him
dude.
need
He's funny.
to chat.
Okay. I would love to.
Sweet.
Let's see. So we make. I'm sorry. So the host introduces the sketch. We watch the sketch comedy. After the sketch comedy, we have a serious discussion for just a couple minutes about whatever serious issues we made a complete parody of. And the intent is that we can be a good influence on the veteran community. Because, we all love highly irreverent comedy, like really, really fucking dark comedy. And nothing is sacred. Except we've agreed Mattis is sacred, but nothing else is sacred.
Mattis is sacred. Nothing else is sacred.
Suicide, death, dismemberment, sexual assault, all of these things, these issues that are really big deals that aren't talked about enough, we make a parody of, then we have a discussion, then we have a nonprofit get introduced that is doing something to help that issue.
Oh, fucking A.
It's a perfect model.
Then we have a musician, and then that's the end.
I hope that goes to 20 seasons.
Me too.
That's fucking rad.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell everybody where they can check out Vet TV and plug your stuff?
Yeah, veterantv.net. Go to the website, sign up for our email list.
I get the emails, and I read every one of them, actually, because they're very well done.
Oh, thank you.
Hopefully you'll advertise this episode in that email.
Look at Jared being a dirty businessman there.
We would be failing miserably if we did not. Absolutely. And by the way, if the emails ever suck, please tell me, because we want to know.
No, I like them.
Cool.
They're very well put together.
Good to know.
And I judge. I would be judging you if they didn't.
Good.
I'd say, fire your email guy.
Good. On the website, in the interim before we launch the network, which is June 28th, we've collected hundreds of stories from vets all over the country about their military experience. Because what we want to do is to recreate and parody the military experience, to appreciate everyone and make them laugh and feel nostalgic, with the hope that when somebody reads something that we publish or watch something that we've made, that the first thing they do is text someone they served with.
Yep.
And that right there could save that person's life. You never know.
True.
This is outstanding. Is there going to be a launch party?
Yes, we have 2 planned, one in San Diego, one in Austin. If we
Can
get
we go to one, Matt?
if we get
Sure.
if we get
Can we go to
more,
one of these?
Let's do it.
San Diego is going to be in a mansion. Austin's going to be on a ranch. But if we have sponsors, we can do more launch parties. Just
Can we do a
Little
Salt Lake City launch
one or
party?
what?
yeah,
I mean, we'll launch it out back, man. Throw a projector, get American Hitman.
Yeah, we can have a band to play.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
Down.
Okay.
You
Put
know?
that on the sketch.
Yeah.
Put it on the sketch, ladies and gents.
We're like a girlfriend trying to get an engagement ring. All you have to do is ask, and we'll S the D.
Yeah,
it's a metaphor.
We'll S it a few times, you know, to make sure that you know.
We're here to help.
You know, once we get the ring, you're going to keep getting them.
I am beyond ecstatic right now. I'm trying to control myself.
It's the coffee. It's only because I made you like a triple Americano.
He's like, oh, I won't make it too bad. Meanwhile, my fucking hair's been standing up for the last half an hour.
Wow, Donnie, thank you for
you.
joining us
Thank
today.
you for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen from Salt Lake City, Matt Best, Jared Taylor, and Donnie O'Malley.
Keep doing what you're doing, dog.
Make sure
Thank you.
you check out Vet TV because it's an amazing organization and it's going to go far.
Black Rifle Coffee Company, along with Arson Wave, would like to thank you for tuning in to Blackhearted. Have a great fucking day.